look for the grit. Because it's very smart out there, pulling together dozens of projects a year. And they know where remarkable is always in stock.
She dropped down to the ground and stomped over to the prince.
Please don't tell him.
The prince said.
You seem fine.
Why did you pull me out of the water?
Ellen asked.
I thought you were drowning.
The prince said. She frowned at him.
I might lack gravity, but it seems you lack something too. Brains.
It's her.
The prince thought. People told stories about a light princess with no gravity. This must be the woman. The princess stamped her foot.
I want to go back in the water. You must put me there at once.
The prince stared into her blue eyes.
She's beautiful.
He thought.
Did you hear me?
The princess asked.
I need you to put me back in the water.
At last, the prince understood. Without gravity, the princess could not put herself back in the water. He took her hand. They walked to another part of the lake.
How should I put you in the water?
He asked.
You pulled me out.
She said.
Please figure out how to put me back.
The prince led her into a nearby water. Then he held her tightly and leaped. Ellen burst out laughing.
I never fell into the water like that before. That was so much fun.
The prince laughed too.
I fell into the water with the most perfect creature ever.
And away the two of them went, swimming and splashing and laughing together. The Light Princess, Chapter 10, A Mermaid and Merman. Ellen and the prince swam for hours. They dived and floated. They played games underwater. Then the moon began to rise and they heard voices. Lights shined through the woods.
The servants are coming for me.
Ellen whispered.
Too bad, because this is delightful.
Swimming with you makes me so happy. Can we meet again?
Perhaps,
She looked away.
but it's not proper to meet alone. You must keep the meetings secret.
Of course.
The prince said. He slipped out of the lake and disappeared into the dark woods. Early the next morning, the prince returned to the lake. The princess was already swimming. The prince longed to join her, but her parents were with her. They were in a beautiful boat, drifting on the lake.
You must wait.
He reminded himself, thinking of their secret. Finally, by late afternoon, Ellen was alone at the lake. The prince found a tall rock and climbed up. He began to sing.
My fair lady, with white skin and golden hair.
Ellen
Thank you. Would you like to fall into the water with me again?
Yes.
Her blue eyes twinkled.
You must pull me up there first.
The prince took off his scarf and belt and tied them together. Then he let them down like a rope. She grabbed on and pulled her up to the rock. They held hands and leaped into the water together. Ellen laughed. Day after day, the pair met. They swam in the lake and played all over. The prince was falling in love. Ellen was beautiful, and she made him so happy. He tried to share his feelings with her. She just laughed at him.
I'm serious, Ellen.
He said. She laughed louder and swam away. He sighed and swam after her. As time went on, the prince saw that Ellen was always lighthearted. He realized something else too. She was happiest in the water.
Someday I will marry her.
He thought.
But we will have to turn into a mermaid and a merman.
The Light Princess. Chapter 11. Drain the Lake Dry. Lady Agnes watched Ellen grow up. Agnes was proud of her gravity spell.
The king and queen worry about Ellen all the time.
She thought happily.
Their daughter will be light and silly forever.
Then one day at the lake, Agnes saw Ellen swimming. The princess dived and floated, laughing with delight. Agnes's eyes flashed blue.
I should have thought of the water. It's the one place where the princess is free.
Back at home, the angry witch paced back and forth.
I'll cast a new spell. A better.
She thought. Agnes hurried to a chest for some dried sage. She threw it into a tub of water with powder. Chanting a spell, she began to stir. Soon a creature rose from the tub, hissing. It was a water dragon with shimmering scales.
Perfect.
The witch put it on her shoulders.
Now I must get the keys to all the cellars.
Agnes grabbed a huge key ring with 100 keys. Then she went to a cellar door and unlocked it. She went down a few steps and came to another door. She unlocked that one, climbing down more steps to another door. She kept doing this until 100 doors were unlocked. At the bottom of all the steps was a huge cave. Its ceiling was held up by rock pillars. Gazing at the ceiling, the witch cackled. Above it was the bottom of the lake. Agnes lifted the dragon, who stretched upward. It circled its head, looking for something on the ceiling. Suddenly, it darted toward a stone.
You found it.
the witch said.
Drain the lake dry, my beauty.
The dragon latched onto the stone tightly. Agnes let go and left the dragon hanging. As the creature worked the spell, the witch sat down. She began to knit with her black cat lying beside her.
Settle in, kitty. We'll wait here until the dragon is done. Little fox.
Ceiling. Suddenly, it darted toward a stone.
You found it.
The witch said.
Drain the lake dry, my beauty.
The dragon latched onto the stone tightly. Agnes let go and left the dragon hanging. As the creature worked the spell, the witch sat down. She began to knit with her black cat lying beside her.
Settle in, kitty. We'll wait here until the dragon is done.
The Light Princess. Chapter 12. Something's wrong with the lake. Now, reader, the princess loved the lake with all her heart. She knew where to find its best diving spots. She knew where its tallest bank sat. She knew where all its fish and wild creatures lived. So of course, Ellen knew at once that the lake was changing. She first noticed it while swimming with the prince. She shot to the surface and looked around.
Something's wrong with the lake.
The prince popped up nearby.
It looks fine to me.
No, the lake is different.
She took off, swimming toward a deeper part of the lake. He swam after her, wondering if she was sick.
Ellen, are you okay?
Ellen didn't reply or look back. Instead, she darted from place to place, checking different spots around the lake. The next day when they met, she was even more upset.
The banks are too dry. The grass and plants are dying.
She pointed to rocks baking in the sun.
Look, those rocks are usually underwater.
The confused prince tried to help her. She pushed him away.
This is terrible.
She cried.
The lake is losing its water.
Agnes stayed inside for 7 days and 7 nights. Finally, the water dragon dropped onto the floor. It quickly dried up and turned back to seaweed. The witch grabbed the seaweed and looked up. Water was beginning to drip from the stone. She cried. Soon lake water would be rushing into her cellars. She had to get back upstairs. Agnes checked the lake. Most of its water was gone, but here and there were a few shallow pools. Agnes frowned.
The spell is taking too long.
That night, Agnes went back to the lake. She walked all around, sprinkling her potion everywhere. She even tossed some into the air at the princess's window. An instant later, the kingdom's rivers and brooks stopped flowing. Water no longer rushed down its mountains. Fountains and wells went dry. Even babies' tears dried up. At the lake, the last bit of water was finally gone. The Light Princess, Chapter 13, Like a Cork? The princess closed her bedroom curtains. She couldn't bear to look at the lake anymore. All that was left was mud and rocks. In the brown muck, eels crawled around and fishes flopped. At first, Ellen's parents thought she might cry. But no tears flowed. Instead, the princess locked herself away. Under the witch's spell, she forgot about the prince. She forgot about everyone, even her parents. The palace no longer rang with the sound of her laughter. For a while, the prince kept going to the lake. Finally, he realized something.
Ellen is never coming back.
He thought. The prince dressed like a servant. Then he went to the palace pretending to work there. While he shined boots, he asked other servants about Ellen. They all said the same thing.
The princess is dying.
His heart sunk. He had to save her. No,
I'll go away and think of a plan.
he decided. The queen didn't know what to do next. As usual, the king was growing impatient. Let's send for Coffin Hum, the queen said. Perhaps they can explain why the lake went dry. Coffin Hum studied the lake carefully. They discussed the dry rivers and fountains of babies' tears. They couldn't figure out the cause of the problem. One afternoon, a boy came to see the queen. He was carrying a green
I found it, said Your Majesty. I heard a creature at the lake.
What?
The king took the plate. It was covered with writing. He said,
It tells of a magical way to fill the lake.
How?
the queen cried.
There's a hole in the lake bed.
The king explained.
Anyone must climb into that hole to plug it up.
Like a cork? The queen asked.
Yes,
The king said.
this cork, person, must give his life.
He looked at his wife sadly.
Where will we find a brave hero like that?
The Light Princess, Chapter 14. Who will volunteer? imagination. His heart leaped.
Finally, something I can do.
He thought.
I'll lose my life, but without the princess, I have no life. And I will see her one last time before I die.
The prince dressed like a servant again. Then he hurried to the palace. The king stared at the handsome servant before him.
Tell me what you want, young man.
I want to be the king.
What? You'll be the hero?
Yes. Give my life to return water to the lake.
The prince said.
That's wonderful!
The king said.
Anything?
The king said.
I'll climb into the hole.
The prince began.
Then, by magic, water will return to the lake. When it reaches my head, I will drown.
The king looked down.
I'm afraid so, yes.
It will be a long wait.
The prince went on.
Yes.
The king bit his lip.
Waiting is hard, but with you as Cork, the lake will never leak again.
I want the princess to sit with me.
The prince went on.
She can feed me. She can look at me now and then to comfort me. When the water reaches my eyes, she may go.
I will grant your condition.
The king said.
Now go and prepare yourself. My guards will search for the hole.
It took the guards a long time to find the hole.